All right, all right. We want to welcome you back to the Flyest Summit around. All right, you guys. So let me tell y'all, we have learned so much information and so many things from the summit itself, from the conversations around the summit. And so we've met what are we originally planned to do kind of changed, right? So when we created it kind of in a vacuum and kind of what we thought we wanted to do, but then we found so much information and so much things happening that we decided that the summit is actually going to become part of our brand, which is going to be great. And it's also going to become something that we do on a regular basis, because we find that the more we talk about the topic of mastering your recovery, we find more nuances and options and integrative options and all kinds of things that's happening all over the place, that, like, one, we weren't aware of, so therefore we know many other people aren't aware of. And there's a lot of things out there that are innovations that are constantly happening in the medical field, in the integrative field, in the combination of the two. So it's a really, really amazing opportunity for us to be able to continue to share what is actually happening in this space. I so this first part of the session, we're going to talk about those things specifically with you guys. Erica is going to come on, and Erica is actually with um, Talk Virtual, and she's gonna kill me if I got it wrong. Yeah, it's Talk Virtual. So Talk Virtual, and she's actually been producing the event with me as a case study, right? So like not everybody knew all that and kind of all the things that we decided. So we've been like digging in, and we found all kind of amazing things that people haven't been able to accomplish. Um, let's say in their with twofold, right? So there's things that you want to do in live streaming that you haven't been able to do before. We've done a lot of innovative things around the techie side, right, of actually producing an event. But we've also done a lot of things around the topic side, which is talking to different people and getting different pieces of information that we had no idea was out there. So, okay, so let's look at. I hope you guys out there on the other platforms can see, kind of can hear me. Thank you for coming. Welcome back to the summit. I believe we have Facebook. Well, Erica will be able to tell you all the places where we are, but one of the main things that we really wanted to bring to the forefront and originally was the idea that there are things out there to help people to recover, and a lot of times it's only available to the very elite. And it's because of many factors. One is exposure, and two is you always want to have a technician that is, or a therapist that is very skilled at what they do. Because just like any other position, customer service or anything like that, right, is going to be a situation where you have to um, say be available, right? You have to have someone who can take you from. You have to have somebody who's skilled enough, right, to um, take you from where you are to where you want to go. Think customer service, think waitress, think all those kind of things. You have somebody who's new and they're ambitious and they're excited about what they are doing, but you also have somebody who can anticipate your needs, which is why they work at different levels of restaurants, and you get different quality of whatever. So that's kind of how things are unfolding. And I'm kind of always known that it's just like a hairdresser. You can go to Great Clips, which is fine if you just if that's uh the level of service that you're looking for. Or you can go to, you know, the most ritziest salon on Rodeo Drive, and you want to get like that three process step color, which you get the rich lady hair and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of different things that's out. The, you know, the color, you know, that fabulous color that you can get, right? So, but that's just essential things that we're looking for, and we're able to, um, what we're finding, those little nuances, those are the things that make the difference, in a lot of ways. So that was like the, I would say, the biggest thing. Um, our mission is to bring you all those kind of pieces of data so that you can utilize them when it's your turn and you need it. Most of the time, what I found is that there are people who have no idea because they've never been injured to the point where their main physical therapy was enough, right? So, you know, you go get a surgery, then you know, that's your first step in your recovery process, and then now you're on to physical therapy, which is the second step in the recovery process. Some people, that is totally fine, that is what they need. But what about the people who are in a position where that physical therapy just is not helping? I mean, you know, it's helped, but it's not getting you to the place where, you know, you are fully recovered. You know, you're like 85%, 75%. What's the thing that's going to help you get to the next thing? What I do, yes, I do microcurrent. If you know me, I do that. That is what I do. But there's also other types of therapies. Like we've talked about this before in the last session. You have like acupuncture, acupressure, you have different laser therapies, different types of modalities that's out there, and and from what I can really gather is that depending on your level of injury, right, your level of need, let's leave it like that. The level of need that you're at, certain things can work. Some people have to up their nutrition, right? So that they can have the building blocks that they need to be able to actually heal. Some people have to have a more um, targeted type of service, like, you know, like acupuncture or microcurrent or however you want to look at it. I have been trying really hard not to only, because the point of this thing is not that microcurrent is the answer to everything, even though I think it could be. I'm just kidding. But yeah, microcurrent has a large breadth and expanse of what it does because of how it works. But I just really want you guys to understand that there are so many things out there that can help you if you can't get to me, if you need something to help you recover. And just because you and somebody else has the same thing. Now, what I run into a lot is this Tommy John surgery, because I work with athletes, right? So Tommy John seems to be the main thing that happens when people get a tendon tear or whatever, and everybody wants to be rush back to get um, the space, get to the space where um, it's resolved, right? Everybody wants to hurry. Well, the body doesn't hurry, right? It doesn't. The body's not listening to you because you want to get back out on the field. So how are you going to make some difference? How are you going to make a change? How are you going to improve the time span, right? How are you going to make it shorter? So those are the types of things that we are focusing on in this series. So yes, microcurrent does that, but I can't help everybody. So that's really the problem, right? It is so difficult for me to be able to say, I'm sorry, but I can't see you for 3 months, right? And it's becoming this situation that is so interesting to me, I so I don't know. So next year we'll start training people so that I can help more people through other people. But there are so I'm trying. So that's why we needed to do the summit, because if I can't see you or I can't help you right now, I would like to be able to say, okay, so why don't you try? Today we're going to talk to Karen Noonan. She is a PhD, and I don't know why we don't call her Dr. Noonan, because I think that would be so awesome. Someone will call her that today, see what she says. And but her thing is yoga and movement, right? And how yoga and movement can help you improve your your wellness, right? So these are the kinds of things that we are definitely like looking to do. So Erica is gonna come on the stage. she's hiding herself under there somewhere. So we're gonna see if we can't encourage her to. All right, hold on. We got raised hands. Where? All right, Erica. You know I'm not. Hover over. I don't see it. What I gotta do? Hand the mic. There she go. Ooh, that was all on me, y'all. Okay, so we use all these different platforms, you guys, and so that is also part of, like I was saying, the techie stuff, right? So the these softwares, like if you ever use Zoom, like they always changing stuff. This is not Zoom, but they're always changing things and how it works and how this goes on and da 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 da. So right here, that they just changed how she can get herself back on stage. So my bad, Erica. I ain't mean leave you hanging out there. I ain't even see all that. You on mute, sugar. So um
Say,
so
no worries. Happy to be here.
yeah. Y'all, Erica is the master at all these different softwares and things that make all the amazingness happen. So, Erica, less okay. So, you guys, this session is going to kind of be like a little bit techie and a little bit master recovery mixed together, because I think that understanding how we're getting to you and telling you this information is just as important as the information that we're going to talk about today. So, Erica, um, I guess kind of explain to people the platform that we're on and how they're seeing us on this platform, even though they're on other ones.
So, right now, me and Elle are on AirMeet, and through OneStream Live, I hooked up, what's it called? RTMP, real time media programming. Yeah, I think that's what those letters stand for. But that's how we're out throughout the world. We're streaming live on 21 different platforms right now. So
That's
that's
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because
So, what do
I
you mean
want
by
to
we're
be
live streaming?
omnipresent.
I'm sorry. Yes. So, tell them what you mean by live streaming to multiple platforms.
Some people call it being omnipresent, and some people call it multicasting. So what you do is you hook up all of your social platforms. You connect them to one place, a server, which is OneStream Live for us, and you ask it to go where you want it to go. They have a list of all the integrated social platforms, and you tell it where you want your stream to go. And inside of AirMeet, they have a custom RTMP. You give them your URL, you give them your stream key, and you're able to stream.
Awesome. So that's for y'all people who just always asking questions about how are we doing this and everything like that. I mean, we tend to try to keep, I would say, information in boxes. Like everybody, it's just not. It's not. I don't see how that works. Like we are supposed to just share about the recovery, but it's a summit, right? And so people want to know more than just one type of thing. So that's why I'm just like, you know what? It may seem a little bit mm, uh, what out of pocket to talk about the tech side, but it's important to kind of because we get questions from both ends. So I'm just wanting to be able to say this is how we're bringing you this information. So yeah. Okay, so Erica, let's talk about the stuff that okay, so if you guys have tech questions and you want more information about summits, right? So then you just reach out to Erica because Elle has way too many things to be doing right now. Uh to be doing all that. So that's why Erica is part of the team and we love her because she is brilliant. If you guys only know, she is super brilliant. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. So let's see. So now let's get back on the topic of mastering your recovery. Okay. Now, the things that we learned say so Angela Pride is the mother of Troy Pride Jr. and he plays for the Carolina Panthers. And her information that she shared with us was really powerful. And what I remember her saying so keenly is that we only have one body and we have to do what we need to do to make sure that that one body is taken care of at all costs. What did you get from her conversation?
What I got, my big takeaway is that even though there's many people that make up a team, when it's your time to stop or slow down, you do that. What's best for you because you only got this one body, and coaches, teammates, they can move on and leave you behind. So you got to take care of yourself so that many can become one because you're taking care of yourself.
Yes, yes, I like it because the whole thing around being part of a team is that you if you are the weakest link, then your team can only be as strong as its weakest link. Right. So yeah, that was pretty critical. I think that was pretty major. And then so we also talked about water in one of the sessions. Thomas Ballard, you guys, um, the thing that I took away from the water conversation was that you hear you are made up like 70 to 90% of water. Water is a huge thing, and I couldn't understand why. Like 70 to 90%, that's a large gap when you're talking about a composition. And so what I understood him to say was that we are 70% of water as a whole, but your cells are 90% water. And that is critical. And if you think about toxicity levels, not only in the water but in your body because you aren't replacing the water, right? So if your cells are made 90% of water, then you need to have clean water in there because the cells can't function if it's just conjuncted up, just disgusting with grossness, right? So if you are not I mean, because I'm just like, just think about like a sewer, like it's just keep filling up. And then so I have this conversation with people all the time about weight loss, and it's a constant conversation. And you would think, okay, so your wellness, because we're in a space of wellness, we're not just talking about injury specifically. So mastering your recovery is a wellness concept of not only like the specific injury that you have, but why your body is in a state of wellness, full wellness, right? So full body stuff. So whenever you think about your cells, you can't recover from an actual injury if your cells don't have what it needs to be able to do that. So that's nutrition and clean water and energy, right? So if your cells are so congested that you seem overweight. So that's the point that I want to make. Like if you are overweight, it is not because you've eaten something too much, because you there's no way that if you were eating actual food that you could be 600 pounds, because your body will be able to process it and eliminate it. It will not store it. But if you are eating food like substances, now those are imitation food things that are all chemicals and stuff like that, that look like food and that taste like food, but they don't function inside your body like food. So now that's where you're going to start to gain weight, because your body is just storing all these chemicals and things inside the cells, and the cells cannot exchange them. So you have too much toxic storage, not enough clean water exchange. Therefore, your body's becoming more and more toxic, which is why you're getting bigger and bigger, because you're storing instead of processing and eliminating and processing and eliminating, so that you are so that your natural body functions are happening. And then when you look at an injury can cause blockages in your body that will impede your ability to process out toxins, and because it's blocked and stored there. So you can be bigger in your belly or bigger in your arms, or some people just get like bigger on their back. You have instances where people have had surgery to have the sebaceous tissue, which is like the fat storage cells, removed, but you have to have a certain balance of storage, so it's going to come back somewhere else, and you don't know where that somewhere else is. You don't have any control. So people get really, really upset and discouraged when that happens. But so that all that conversation to me is relevant to water, because water is a fundamental need. You've got to have clean water, and not soda, not tea, not lemonade. That is not water. That is lemonade. So you have to have, the rule of thumb is take your body weight, divide that in half, and take that number and use that number to be like your guide for how much number of ounces of water you should have daily. And I thought that was super, super important. So if you guys didn't see that, y'all need to go back and watch that, because that was important. So what did you take away from? I know I talked a lot, but what did you take away from water?
Well, I know from you, microcurrent works best when you have been drinking water. What I took away from Thomas is that water is a natural solvent. And I like how he says water is why babies are squishy.
Yeah. Thomas was awesome. You guys, Erica is the queen of like um annotated comments. Like, I talk forever. She's like, this is the thing. This is the distilled down version. I'm like, man, I need
Yeah,
to
I
learn
mean,
some.
so well, I guess I could expand on water being a natural solvent. Is like you're eating what we call food, but it's not really a healthy substance. But if you're drinking enough water, maybe you could clean all of that out since water is a solvent.
Yes, it will help, but you still have to. You need to not eat those things. Eat real
That's
food.
true.
Eat real food. Because we get into this trick, right? And I know you guys is not about weight, but we get into this trick. And there's this trick that that I don't think it was intended to be a trick, but it kind of turned out to be a trick, right? They're like trying to solve food, and they're like, guess what? If we make it like this and it looks like food, then people can eat it. But then they skip the whole section about the nutritious part, right? And so then they add things in there that could be considered nutritious, but it's really not, because it's like a synthesized version. And then they don't know until years later that these synthesized versions of nutrients, like niacinamide. Me and niacinamide have a problem, okay? Because niacinamide is a synthetic version of niacin, and like people call it non-flushing niacin. Well, actually, it's just a chemical, and if you are supposed to have niacin in your body, and because the flush that you get is the radiation that's in your body coming out. So people like, oh, I don't want flushing. I'm like, yes, you do. You're supposed to do that. It's supposed to happen. Right? This is a natural process. You are supposed to have niacin and all these different minerals and things in your food, right? So that you can be healthy. It's like the sun goes down and then it goes back up. But if it's trapped in your body, it can't get out, right? So anyway, and there's just okay, so y'all can look up niacin and what it does and why it's better than niacinamide if you want to. But I'm just saying, I mean, there's a lot of research out there, there's a lot of studies, and I could go on and on, but y'all don't want to sit here and listen to me for like 6 days talking about this stuff. Okay.
You're saying the real stuff is better than the knockoff.
Absolutely, 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 100%. Okay, so then we talked to Tremaine Bowman, and he is a coach now, but he was an athlete, and his story was amazing. And you guys should go back and watch that video also. But what I took, okay, so for me, his story was more emotional in my opinion, right? Because I feel like more than what he said was the impact that it has on me when I'm working with clients, right? So I have young men who are are NFL bound. I have young men who are newly in the NFL, and I have um, all the way to guys who are retired and wanting to just kind of enjoy their life a little bit more, right? So what I know is by understanding his story of him getting almost to the place where he was about to be a professional player and not being able to fulfill his dream because of an injury that could have been avoided on a couple different levels, right? So you guys got to go back and watch the video because I don't want to take all day on that. But just being able to know that I'm able to intercede to help a person not only this is kind of a new well this I always knew that this was a thing, but I didn't ever really talk about this in public because I always felt it was kind of a weird thing to 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 have to explain to somebody how this works. So since the last summit, I have worked on a client who is NFL bound, and anybody who knows anything about how these players play, no matter what sport you have ever played, all those little old injuries that you got when you were younger, when you are about to be, when you're trying to show how elite you are, it affects you. So he had an injury when he was like maybe a couple years now. He's been dealing with this shoulder injury. He's gonna come on in the when we do the on the May 19th launch. Like he'll be I believe live talking if he doesn't have a thing, right? So anyway, he'll come on and he'll talk about his shoulder and what happened to his shoulder and how he got that injury. But it was keeping him at like being able to max out with weights at like around 250 or something. Don't quote the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it's like two something, like 250. He was like maxing out 250. So, but once I treated the shoulder and the shoulder no longer had the pain because like you are lifting and you have to push through the pain to get it up, and so it was keeping him from being able to do more. So once I treated and got rid of the pain, now he's like over 300. The last time that we got a report on his max thing. So it was a significant increase because we were able to make the shoulder fully recovered. And so who knows where that's going to take him. And so he's going to so we did a few different things. So you'll see how actually getting rid of old injuries make you more elite. So you don't have, instead of doing like Tremaine did, where he tried to play too soon and it caused him not to be able to play at the level that he had the skill set and the prowess to be able to do. So I feel like I don't know, I'm a little tool, right, that people can use to help them to get to the next level, right? I think that is so awesome. So what did you? So that sorry, that was just sorry, but I'm just like so excited. I really am to be able to. We always everybody. I think as people, we want to sow into other people's lives, right? So that's just kind of at least I do. I love seeing other people win. I love seeing other people do well, and to be able to help somebody be able to do well in something that they really, really are passionate about is incredible.
Me too. I like that
Cool.
about you.
Oh, thanks. So what do you want to? So what did you get from Tremaine from a coach's perspective?
He told a few stories that I'm probably going to weave together. He talked about ego, glory, and wanting a pat on the back. And how good does a pat on the back feel to make you want to go out in the field and try to achieve what you think everyone wants from you, which is to win games. And you hurt yourself, and there's no pat on the back, and people move on. But you still want the glory, you still want those pat on the backs. What would you do for that? So you try to get healthy and you go back out there and you still want more glory, you want more pats on the backs. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it don't. But you got to do stuff for yourself to make sure that you're all right so you can move forward and move on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so when you get hurt, you come see Elle so she can fix it. I know
Yeah.
it sounds so simplistic. It's so kind of funny to say it that way, but you guys, you know, that's just something. I wish that I had the skill set back then to be able to help him to be able to get to where he wanted to go. I kind of am real. I was really sad that I wasn't there for him then. So, but he's doing amazing things now. He's been coaching boys and girls on different sports and all kinds of stuff because he played basketball and football. So that's pretty awesome. We
Yeah.
talked
But
about. Go ahead.
I'll say, think of all the things you can do now. You're helping NFL players keep their jobs. You're
Yeah.
helping agents keep their clients.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
maybe if you wanted to work with high school students, maybe they can keep their scholarships and move on to other things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think we're gonna. I think we talked about doing some clinics, for some high school students and stuff. So I think that's you guys. This whole thing has like gone just kind of crazy, and when people find out about what is possible, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but it just got kind of nuts. So I am so happy. I am so grateful. I am so excited to be able to be part of the bigger picture of things because okay so let's talk about the impact of injuries, right? And how it's um been manifesting, right? So that's the thing. So th- so injuries do two things. Well, they do more than two things. They affect, but the things that they affect the individual, right? We talked about how it affects the team, but also affects the leagues themselves, right? Because from a league's perspective, you have to have players. Think about baseball. Baseball is not anywhere near as exciting as it used to be when people like Barry Bonds and Derek Jeter and all those different players, Big Poppy, everybody was so focused on baseball for a long time because they had players who people wanted to see. Um, Now I can't even please baseball people don't be mad at me, but I don't know any of their players anymore, right? I just don't because all the people who used to be, but also when they kind of like left the league early, they didn't bring up the next level of people. Like before, it used to, like it seemed like to me, like when like a player where they would have, you would have a team, they'll have players, and then those people bring in new people, and then they kind of like all kind of mingle together, right? And so then the older people leave, but the younger people stay, and so then you're like, oh, I know this person, but that didn't happen. I don't really know why that didn't happen, but now I don't know really any of the people. I think I know more soccer players, like, well, I know all the, they don't call it soccer everywhere, but the football people I know, which is different. Like I know more of them than I know of actual baseball players, which never was before in the United States anyway, because we finally are accepting soccer or football as a thing, which I don't know why it wasn't before, but anyway. So now, so that's how it affects the league. You don't have those really dynamic kind of iconic people because they've gotten injured, or they got retired, or so just think like of how that affects one team, right? So one team, they don't have people coming to the stadiums, they don't have people buying their stuff, blah blah blah, right? So that's kind of how those injuries are mm, negatively affecting the league itself. And then the league has to pay people to be on IR. So what I so for my therapy, what I'm able to do is help people either not have to go on IR or to shorten the time that they're on IR. Okay, IR is what does the IR stand for? Oh shoot, I forgot. What does it stand for?
I don't remember either.
Injury reserve list. So you get a, I
I
don't
was
know
going to
why they
say
didn't
those
call it
letters are the right letters and they're in the right order. And I just can't tell you what they stand for.
I don't know why they don't call it the IRL, the injured reserve list. They just calling people on IR. I'm like, okay. If they said IRL, I would know. But anyway, so you get on the injured reserve list. Okay, so you have people who are or injured reserve for things like, okay, they got a jam finger, or they got a turf toe or something like that. So those kinds of things where I'm able to fix for people. But with that going on, it's just difficult to be able to say, okay, the injured reserve list people, we can shorten it down so it doesn't cost the league as much money. That's pretty great. But it also keeps the players on the field more often. It also keeps the teams winning, right? Because if your star player is injured for like, I don't know, they off the thing for like 4 games, you only get so many games that you can lose, right? Before your team's not in the playoffs or the whatever's, right? So that's important. And plus the player wants to make their full pay. And I know that's based on your contract or whatever, but the agents also aren't getting their full pay because the person's not making as much money. So, there's just this whole situation that's going on. So we're constantly trying really, really hard to impact um the I mean, it's a job, right? So you go to work so that you can make your money. So we're trying to also be aware that there's a financial impact that injuries have, and unfortunately we have to talk about that too.
How about this, Elle? You're young, you think you're invincible, so you go to work and you play hard. You could possibly get injured, but since you're new to all of this money, you probably spent most of it. So you would need a second chance if you did get injured to recoup that money and maybe make some better financial decisions.
True. Because I guess you always thinking like, well, my next paycheck, I'll save some of that. I just need to spend it because, and that's the thing. It's like when you are financially, I mean, there's a lot of ways now for people to make money as a player than they could before on different levels. You got all the NIL. name, image, and likeness. I was about to say NILs. You got all that kind of going on too, right? So yes, you want to maximize your opportunity, but you also want to be healthy. I mean, like from what Julian Edelman said was that he didn't care about if the leg was his leg was healthy after he tore his ACL. He only wanted to get it back to the level that it was before. That broke my heart to hear him say that, because I'm like, you yes, you want to get it back to the level that it was before. That includes it being healthy because it wasn't injured, so it was healthy, right? And then you also have to look at the long run. They can, you know, bionic man you, right? Bionic, I don't know if y'all remember the $600 million man, but they can bionic man you through some injury and get you back out on the field so you can win games for a few years. But then later on, you're going to be like my one client who is constantly in pain. You guys will get to meet him at the launch on the 19th of May. I'm so excited. He said that, he's had surgeries and he didn't have to take any pain medication because everything always hurts anyway. So he was just used to it. I don't never want nobody to be like that. That's awful. Oh my God, that broke me. That broke me. I was like, no, no, no. So I don't know, you guys. I am such a bleeding heart. I know I always seem like I have everything together. I don't. I'm just like, y'all, that hurt me so bad. Cause I'm like, why? I'm like, can you imagine living every single day of your life in pain that you could actually get rid of? Like I could. I mean, it's a thing. Um, I don't know. I just can't. I remember being pregnant, right? And you know how it is when you're pregnant. I know, guys, y'all like, nah, I can't relate. But I remember being pregnant and knowing that I was going to have to deal with being pregnant for like another few months. I was like, Jesus, please. This is terrible. Oh my God, I hated it so bad. And I remember when now I've never really had, I mean, I've had surgeries and stuff, but I've never had like an injury until I don't know, maybe sometime last year. One morning I woke up and my knee was killing me and I couldn't figure out why my knee was hurting. It took me like, I don't know, like, okay, so I'm like the cobbler with the shoes, the kids with no shoes situation. And so but I had to really work myself through with microcurrent, work myself through it. And I'm glad that it happened. It was awful when it happened, but I understand a lot more of how people go through pain. I'm like, please, I never ever want to see anybody go through that again. No pain. That's terrible.
And I remember a client you worked with who had deep pain, and he was so happy when he said, I don't have to pay anybody to cut my grass, and I can go upstairs without paying.
Yes, yes.
It's like
That's
those two stories, very short, but the happiness on his face, I could feel just like joy and relief.
Yes, it's crazy just to see. I mean, my clients when everybody who comes to me, everybody's skeptical, active, still skeptical, and I understand that because I would be skeptical. I'm skeptical of myself sometimes because things happen to you and you're like, I don't know if microcurrent gonna be able to fix that, And I was like, I don't know, but I gotta try because that's the tool that I have, right? And you're looking at it, and I'm like, okay, oh, maybe, but that's just normal. You should be skeptical. You should not just believe that something's gonna help you, right? So you need to do your real research, your diligence, but mainly the thing that's gonna help you do, you come see me. You come see me, and we figure it out. Like, what is it? And I'm like, maybe I can, maybe I can. Let me look at it. And so, but when you get to the place where, okay, I come up with my theory, I kind of like analyze the situation. Most of now, I'm not always right the first time, but I gotta say I'm getting pretty good. I done done this so much, it's crazy. So, but I'm getting pretty good at it. I have gotten pretty good at it. So, most of my theories these days are really good. And then so we go through the whole scientific process of figuring out, okay, so based on my theory, is this gonna, what do we see? And based on what we see, do we throw my theory out or do we just kind of go, you know what I mean? What's the deal? And so once we once we unravel the injury, right, and we get it all the flows going, because I say this like all the time, and I think people think that I'm crazy, but there's only six elements that cause pain. And we came up with it, and we call it, it's like your pain is lurking, right? So the acronym that we came up with is lurks, right? So it's loss of range of motion, inflammation, reduce blood flow, reduce lymph flow, um, collateral damage, and scar tissue. Those are the six things. And if you don't treat all six, then you have the possibility of one recreating all the trauma, all those other things. I know that sounds so convoluted, but you guys, it is the truth. And so, like, if you get a injection, like a steroid, the steroid works on the inflammation. And if you haven't gotten to the stage where you have scar tissue or atrophy, then then it works, right? And then it's good. But if you've already gotten atrophy, you already have scar tissue, you have the inflammation, and you have loss of range of motion. The um, the steroid will reduce the inflammation, and it'll make all those other things feel a little bit better, but the scar tissue will continue to acerbate, and so will the atrophy and all those things. And so what we're able to do is kind of quickly make all six of those things reduce in impact on you, so that your body can take over and heal it all through and through, so that you don't have to worry about it coming back. So that's kind of the goal. So we always want to be, but there's, now don't say that I said that's the only thing that works. It just pretty much works faster than most things. I have to say that,
I
that
think you've gotten really good at pattern recognition, and since you know of those six things, it makes the pattern a little shorter for you, so you see it right away.
yes.
Oh,
I mean, I can see people walking down the street. I'm like, oh my God, they need to go see me. Oh my gosh, but there's all kinds of stuff. Like there's so many things. There's so many things that are happening. And that's why I'm so excited that Karen's coming today, because she's going to talk about how you can use your body in um in yoga, in different things. She does so much stuff. She's so incredible and amazing, and that's why she is going to be our next speaker. And then we'll have and Ashton Smith, who is a Special Olympics gold medalist like many times over, will also be one of our speakers today. Erica, I want to thank you for letting me like rattle on. This was not supposed to go this long. But we just really, this is obviously my passion. You can just see it all over me. And but it's but Erica's kind of like been on this journey with me. All the different, listening to different people talk about like services they've gotten from me, the results that they've gotten from me, different things that we've talked to other people about, um, just doing the summit. And then there's also all the testimonials and all the different things that's on the website, and then the videos that we are sharing like everywhere, all over the place. Like, so it's constantly something that's going on. So that's why she's able to like come on and like be like really part of this conversation, because yeah, y'all don't want to just sit here and listen to me ramble. So I am working on being a better host and speaker, but I just really want to, I just feel like people need to kind of be able to like feel what's happening and be part of the conversation. So I hope you don't feel like we're talking at you, we're talking to you, and we came to share some good information with you. We are going to take a break. and then Karen will be here on what at 1:30. That's when she gets to come on stage. And so are we ready for a break now, Erica?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's Erica's job, y'all. This was just asking. So I think so when we so oh this is also going to be recorded, and it'll be available on different spaces and places. So we are going to go do we have a session that we have to do with Ashton right now, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Okay, yeah. All right. And so then at 1:30 we'll be back right here. And then it's the magic of TV. You'll get to see Ashton also. So well technically it's kind of TV. No, it's live streaming. How about that? Um oh yes, we should. So we'll tell y'all at the end about all the other stuff that we got coming out with um y'all probably know y'all. It depends on when you know me or what you know me for. But I also have live streaming platforms for Roku, Apple, Fire, Chrome TV. So we are going to do some new stuff with that too. Okay, so we will see you guys later. So at 1:30, we'll see you back here.